This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning. PMH in crisis. Prime Minister touring the hospital, recognizing the challenges. Murders, robberies, and sex crimes all up in 2022. Plus, we learned that a boy carried a high-powered weapon onto a school campus just a few weeks ago. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Monday, January 30th, 2023. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strawn. In a moment, Pamela Musgrove will be joining us. Also this morning, in Morning Blend Business, we'll start that in the 8 o'clock hour. We're going to be talking with the Department of Inland Revenue. We're finally going to get that together, we hope, this morning. And a lot to talk to them about today. That's all straight ahead, but first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we were sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, Prime Minister Philip Davis saying that Princess Margaret Hospital is in crisis and pledging that his administration will do all it can to fix it. Davis spoke Saturday on the conditions at PMH following a tour of the facility where hospital officials showed him several wards that are currently undergoing renovations. The Public Hospitals Authority and Managing Director Avnet Roll, who accompanied Davis, agreed, saying, quote, "It's a crisis. It's at a point where we need action, and that is exactly what we are doing now." Due to the renovations, the hospital lost 51 beds and is currently, via an agreement, forwarding stabilized patients to Doctors Hospital West. Following the tour, the Prime Minister said it was, quote, "heart-wrenching to see the state of the facility." But he said, quote, "We will fix it. We are fixing it. What we see here are not challenges, but truly crises." I indicated that we have a health crisis. The tour ended with the Accident and Emergency Department, where tight corridors were filled with patients on gurneys or waiting in chairs. The Prime Minister was accompanied by Roll and Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Michael Darville and PMH Hospital Administrator Mary Walker. Stopped to speak to patients, the crowded pathways could barely accommodate the full entourage. Meanwhile, Health and Wellness Minister Darville saying the government is seeking to source funding for Hospital for New Providence that will be focused on maternity, pediatric, and adolescent care. He says that the feasibility study for the hospital has been completed. He says that, along with the dip note, is now forwarded. He says they're seeking assistance from the international community with the funding. Darville also noted that work on a new $201 million hospital for Grand Bahama is gearing up. Though overall serious crimes decreased by 2% throughout the country last year, crimes against the person increased by 23%, driven by a rise in murders, sex crimes, and armed robberies. That's according to Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernander. He reported this on Friday. There were 128 murders, an 8% increase over 2021. Fernander said 113 of the murders took place in New Providence, 8 on Grand Bahama, 4 on Abaco, 1 in Andros, 1 in Eleuthera, and 1 in Exuma. 2 of the victims were foreigners. Police reported that they were able to make arrests in 86 of those murders, a 69% detection rate. Based on the investigations, he says 35 suspects were on bail, committed murders. 34 victims were killed while on bail. 30 victims were being electronically monitored, and 46 victims were known to police. Firearms are used in most of the cases, with the key motives being retaliation, gang violence, and conflict. The commissioner also saying that a 15-year-old boy carried a high-powered weapon onto a school campus 2 weeks ago after he had an altercation with another student. He says that young man is still in school. Fernander saying during a press conference on Friday, quote, he appeared to be very angry for whatever reason. We're paying attention to this because he returned. He had some altercation with another student, and he returned with that firearm. Thank God that student was not still hanging around in the yard, because we could have maybe had a mass shooting. And I pray the devil away that will never happen here in this country. Fernandez said an off-duty officer followed the teen who was arrested. He said police have asked the Department of Social Services to investigate to determine what's happening in that teen's home, including how to find out how that teen was able to get his hand on such a high-powered rifle. He said, quote, I gave police officers instructions, they carried it out, and we found out other kids live in that house. And the commission also saying that the Lanisha Roll matter, the former Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, is, quote, very much active, though he did not give any details about what the matter entailed. He also said the investigation into claims that the current Transport and Housing Minister, Jo Beth Colby Davis, hit a police officer with her car last year has been closed due to insufficient evidence. Overseas, a suicide bomber struck today inside a mosque within a police compound in the northwestern Pakistani city of Peshawar, killing at least 28 people and wounding as many as 150 worshippers, most of them policemen. The bombing drew nationwide condemnation from opposition political parties and government officials. The provincial governor in the area, where Peshawar is the capital, said there were fears now that the death toll could rise even further. Most of the casualties were policemen and police officers. The targeted mosque is located within a sprawling compound, which also serves as the city's police headquarters. Police say between 300 to 350 worshippers were inside the mosque when the bomber detonated his explosives. No one immediately claimed responsibility for the bombing, but the Pakistani Taliban have been blamed in similar suicide attacks in the past. In sports, Bahamian multi-event specialist Ken Mullings lowering his own national record in the men's indoor heptathlon at the University of Illinois Saturday. Mullings scored a total of 5,933 points after completing all 7 disciplines to shatter his old national record of 5,678 points, set back in January 2020. By 255 points. Mullings, who competed unattached, won that event as he took down the rest of the field, 11 competitors. It was his season opener and lists him as number 6 on the World Athletics top list for 2022-2023. The former University of the Bahamas athlete never dropped in the standings, leading from start to finish. The indoor events included the men's 60-meter dash, the long jump, the shot put, high jump, the 60-meter hurdles, pole vault, and the 1,000 meters. He had a personal best in 6 of those categories. You can read more in today's Guardian Sports section. And as the 2023 Grifter Games draws closer, more Bahamian athletes continue to put their best foot forward, looking to achieve the Grifter qualifying standards. This weekend, 2 more athletes reached a standard at the 3rd annual Oak Tree Sonia Knowles Track Classic, hosted by the Red Line Athletics Track and Field Club. Get the details in today's Guardian Sports section. And we now know who will be in the Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs topping the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20 on a last-second kick for the AFC title in the late game last night. Earlier, the Philadelphia Eagles soared past the San Francisco 49ers for the NFC title. So it'll be the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, deep layered ridging situated over the Bahamas will keep quiet conditions across the country today as locally brisk breezes continue to make their way across the southern islands through tonight. We've got a few warnings, though. Beachgoers should exercise caution as there's a risk of rip currents along eastern shorelines, especially along eastern Atlantic shorelines, as well as the southeast Bahamas. And motorists and pedestrians are advised that there is a slight risk of mist or fog on some islands near marshy or wooded areas, especially Bimini, Grand Bahama, and Abaco around this time, just before the sun makes its way fully up. For today, your forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas, mostly sunny, warm, and a bit breezy with a stray shower or two. Turning fair and mild tonight. Winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, but gusty at times. Seas 3 to 5 feet, subsiding to 1 to 3 feet near shore, but remaining elevated in light to moderate easterly swells along Atlantic exposures by tonight. For the southeast Bahamas, partly sunny with some cloudy intervals. Windy with a few light, fast-moving showers possible by this afternoon, becoming mostly fair, a bit mild and breezy tonight. Small craft advisory in effect for boaters. Winds easterly at 15 to 25 knots in the southeast Bahamas. Seas 5 to 8 feet. Temperature-wise, right now, it's about 73 degrees under cloudy skies in Nassau. We're looking at highs getting up to around 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. It's time for break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
We're good for you. Whether your business is in-store, on the go, or both, let Fidelity work with you to maximize your customers' payment options with a fixed or mobile terminal so that you never miss a sale. It's safer than cash and more convenient so that you can take your business anywhere. For details, contact a business development officer today at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport, or visit our website at fidelitygroup.com.
Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Atlantic, agents and brokers. Good like that.
Legacy College Readiness and Tours. Already get the first set of knowledge. Now it's time to prepare you for college. You're thinking so much you gotta do. Legacy will handle that for you.
Legacy College Readiness and Tours is committed to providing a comprehensive guide through the college selection process, regardless of a student's academic profile. There are many ways one should engage in college selection process. Word of mouth, extensive research, college fairs, and if possible, the most important, college visits. A campus visit is your opportunity to get a first-hand view of a college. A college catalog, brochure, or website can only show you so much. To really get a feel for the college, you need to check out the town, the city, walk around the quad, sit in a class, and visit dorms. College tours are an important part of the college selection process, and Legacy College Readiness and Tours offers that opportunity. If you're interested in hearing more about college campus tours and summer workshop prospects, give us a call at 242-809-5278 or email us at legacycollegetours@gmail.com.
With over 25 years in business, nothing says commitment to our people, culture, and service like Rev. And this year is no different. We will continue to elevate your home experience for you to create and share memories for years to come, while keeping you connected to the people and things you love most. Our pledge to provide quality service each year remains true. Rev is made for you.
Is your 2023 goal to move into your own home? Well, future homeowner, enjoy another payday. Build or buy a home with financing from CIBC First Caribbean, and you'll receive cash back every month for 1 year. A home is one of your greatest investments, so secure one soon. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/homeowners payday for more info. Offer valid from January 9 through to March 31, 2023. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, Pamela Musgrove joining us in just a second. And you can join us as well. The phone numbers to call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. On the text line, 422-4796, the BTC Power text line, standard text rate supply. Again, coming up this morning, we'll be talking with Inland Revenue in our 8 o'clock hour, going into Morning Blend Business. A lot to talk to them about. Hopefully the third time will be the charm for this discussion this morning. Pam, great to have you with us.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Bahamas.
So we have a lot to get to. Let's begin with what's in the news. And in the news, big headline in the paper is PMH in crisis, hospital in crisis. Is that news? Is that news? I don't know if it's news, but this is what happens when the police have a press conference on Friday on big issues like the crime because then, right, does it make the news Friday? People listen to the news on Friday. Weekend, you forget about it, and then any old nonsense can make the headline on Monday, because who didn't know that we were in a crisis with PMH? It's not news. Apparently, it's news to the Prime Minister, though. But hey, anyway, okay. So yeah, they did a tour on Saturday. Prime Minister said it was heart-wrenching what he saw. Anybody who's driven by a PMH could tell you that. But here we go. So they say they're working. They're working on stuff. I don't really want to spend much time on this, Pam. I mean, what is there to talk about, really? Right? Am I wrong?
No,
Am I feeling very negative today? Is that me?
No, we've known for a long time that there's a crisis. I think the challenge that we have, and I think I can associate it with PMH, is maintenance. Mm-hmm. You know, we all know if we purchase a car, whether it's a used car or a new car, if we don't have it serviced on a regular basis, we know what's going to happen. Absolutely. The operation life of that car will decrease substantially. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we do in government. We construct buildings and we just leave it. Yeah. And we allow them to deteriorate to the point where we have to discard it and build something new.
Yeah.
But if we are constantly maintaining, upgrading, if there are divisions that say, well, you know what, this AC is draining here, we need to fix it, and you get competent people in there to fix it, then you wouldn't have to go and purchase an entire AC system 5-10 years down the road. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the challenge that we have, because we spend, I said it last week, about $440 million on healthcare in this country. That's a lot of money given our revenue base is about, let's say, on average, $2 billion. Yeah. That's good money to spend on any area, and that's one of the highest, second to interest on debt. So we are borrowing money, and that's the highest expenditure item. So we spend a lot on healthcare.
Yeah, absolutely.
How are we utilizing these funds, though?
Well, also in the paper today, this story, the government seeking to source funding for a new hospital for New Providence that will be focused on maternity, pediatric, and adolescent care, according to Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Michael Darville. He says the feasibility study is completed now, and that along with the dip note. You know what the dip note is? Dip note? I don't know.
I don't know. But I'm sure
we
Google it.
Let's Google that. Can you Google that while I read the rest of this one? Yeah, let's see what. That's now being forwarded, where we are seeking in the international community for funding. He said, quote, that particular hospital, based on the planners, will be a specialty hospital focusing on maternity care, adolescents, and pediatric care. Interesting. We said that last week, right, that we needed to have more satellite hospitals, more trauma centers, but we did need specialty facilities as well, and so that's a good sign. But what about the trauma centers? Do we not need one in the population centers, like in Carmichael? But anyway, what do I know? This person's, the Dr. Darville says, quote, there will be a reference lab, there will be a national morgue, and there will be expanded diagnostic services. I will unveil to the press very shortly our planned structure for that facility, because it will be in 2 phases. What is it? Diplomatic notes. Oh, okay. Well, why not just say that? I don't understand.
The definition given is the blog name Dipnote comes from the term diplomatic notes, which are used for correspondence between the U.S. government and a foreign government.
Okay. Wow. Anyway, Darville says, quote, I will unveil to the press very shortly our planned structure for that facility, because it will be in 2 phases. The first phase will be the specialty hospital, and the second phase that we possibly won't get to in this term in office will be a second campus that will reflect the services that happen here at Princess Margaret Hospital. Darville also noted that work on the new $201 million hospital for Grand Bahama is gearing up. He says that, quote, our medical planners have clearly indicated that on completion of that hospital, we plan not to have 2 campuses. The hospital at the Rand Memorial will go down to a secondary facility where it will provide geriatric care as well as psychiatric care. He says construction will be in 2 phases. Phase 1 will produce urgent care and about 42 beds, and the second phase will produce the balance of the beds, which will be a multi-story complex. Okay. All right. Interesting. Some of your reaction to this so far. Someone says here, LOL at another walkabout years later to discover a known problem. Quote, wow, I never knew this was here. Get a committee together immediately to form a focus group. Boy, oh boy. Well, on that tour, the managing director of Public Hospitals Authority, Obnet Roll, did point out some of the things they're doing, the work that's going on in the wards, repairing the wards, and many wards that are out of commission, but they're working. So, Another text. The Prime Minister is a oh boy. And let's edit this. Is being clownish. I'm editing. Where was he living all these years? He was the leader of the opposition. He was deputy prime minister. He has been in politics for years, and the hospital has been in that state for years. He is full of hot air. SMT, suck my teeth. Oh boy. Another one says here, Mr. Davis gets medical care in the U.S., not PMH like us natives. Yikes. So how is he supposed to know what's going on? He told us himself while as Deputy Prime Minister he has no knowledge of anything, so why is this news? Now Dr. Darville and Dr. Minnis both should be doing the Game of Thrones walk of shame. These people ain't gonna even get to the parking lot of heaven for all the games they play. Wow. Pam is right, though. Check any ministry and see how much is allocated for maintenance.
And I think we have to also note that crime is also affecting the delivery of service because we have so many gunshot incidences. Then persons are, the hospital professionals need to attend to them. If someone comes into the hospital with a gunshot, they're doing all they can to probably save those persons' lives, and that affect, what can be given to ordinary people who would come in.
Sure.
So that is also, crime is also negatively affecting the delivery of healthcare.
Yes, I guess.
It plays a role.
Of course.
I won't ignore the fact that, the lack of maintenance and upkeep of this valuable asset
and I'm sure
is not to standard.
Yeah,
but
takes a mental toll on the staff as well, I can imagine. Having to deal with that. This person says, I guess a maternity ward is to cope with the influx of the undocumented individuals. Okay. This one says here, when will this episode of Morning Blend be available for replay to listen to the Inland Revenue segment? Well, again, well, that's if it happens. Well, it's rebroadcast in the evenings. Tonight, it'll probably be right after CFAL Talks at 7, and then it'll be uploaded to our podcast page on our website and Spotify for tomorrow morning. All right, but we hope you can stick around and listen to it, though. Okay, so let's move on to the big news from Friday, the press conference with the police, with the police department, the police force, Commissioner Clayton Fernander, saying a lot of things: murders, robberies, sex crimes, all up. For more on what he disclosed, take a listen to this report from our Paige McCartney.
Although serious crimes decreased by 2% nationwide in 2022, Police Commissioner Clayton Fernander today said crimes against the person increased by 23% last year. He said this is due to an uptick in murder, sex crimes, and armed robberies. During a press conference at police headquarters today, Fernander revealed that of the 128 murders in 2022, police believe that 35 suspects who were on bail for various offenses committed those killings, while 34 murder victims were killed while they were on bail.
Out of that 128 murders, detectives, with a combined team effort across the board, with uniform officers, we were able to charge and solve 86 of those matters out of the 128, which represent a solvency rate of 69%. I just want to take this opportunity at this point to commend all of the officers. It's not just CID. It's a team effort across the board, from the plainclothes to the uniform branch, and to commend the members of the public as well, who continue to partner with us with information to assist in bringing closure to this matter. We want to prevent these matters from happening. So we will continue to be present out there. But that is significant, that 69% solvency rate.
Meantime, Fernandez said there was a 34% increase in armed robberies, with 555 reported in all of 2022. He also noted an alarming increase in reported unlawful sexual intercourse cases last year. Fernandez said there were 139 reported cases in 2022, an 11% increase over 2021. Fernandez pleaded with parents to monitor their children's social media activity.
94 in New Providence, the breakdown, 29 in Grand Bahama, 17 in the Family of Islands. That is alarming. And the unlawful sexual intercourse are young ladies under the age of 16. We want to send a message to the parents. Please try to monitor your children on social media. Watch their habits on social media. Watch their habits on social media. I want to send a strong message to the men out there who continue to prey on our little darlings, our young people, to stop now. Stop now. If you do, we will find you and you will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. That is a no-no.
Also, the police commissioner said there was an increase in the use of high-powered weapons last year. A total of 370 firearms were taken off the streets in 2022. That's 280 pistols, 22 revolvers, 38 high-powered rifles, and 30 shotguns. He highlighted the case of a 15-year-old who carried a high-powered weapon onto a school campus just 2 weeks ago after he had an altercation with another student.
Thank God the student was not still hanging around in the yard, because we could have had maybe even a mass shooting. And I pray the devil away with that it never will happen here in this country. There was an off-duty police officer who followed that individual, not being armed, the officers. What if the officer was armed and engaged that youngster? Who would have maybe just opened fire? There have been a shootout. Who knows? But the young man was charged and put before the court. 15-year-old.
While crimes against the person were up, property crimes decreased by 9% due to a drop in house break-ins and stealing. In other news, Minister of
Okay, our Paige McCartney with that report there. All right, a lot to talk about there. And Pam, I could see that you were taking note of the same thing I wrote down to talk about, because this word that they like to use, we need to get the police force to stop saying it, solving these crimes. The public thinks solve means something else, as in we've got a conviction. This is the court has determined, whether it's a jury or a judge or whatever, determined that person is indeed guilty, and we have dealt with that matter from beginning to end. Not that you made an arrest. That is not solving.
Or charged somebody with a crime.
Right.
That's not solving a crime.
No. And maybe in police jargon, you all think that's solving, but the public doesn't see it that way. No. And it makes people angry. It makes me angry to hear you say that. Please stop. Stop it. Stop it. Just like how the media should stop repeating some of the police lingo. We need you to stop saying that, because that's not how humans talk. Yeah. So stop. But anyway, so if they solve these things, but yet half the people getting murdered or out on bail or
and then over
known
what
to
period?
police.
Because I mean, we are reading where persons were charged with an offense from 2014, and the case is just coming up right now. Are you saying that you, according to police, solved or you arrest or you charge 86 persons last year based on criminal acts that they have committed last year?
You see, it's so many things because you brought up that 2014, that's a long time ago,
Yeah.
but we know that people were charged the year before and are out. So we've got everything going on here.
So the question
many
is,
questions.
Out of the 128 incidents or criminal offenses that occurred last year, did you solve 86 of those? Did you arrest, charge 86 of those persons?
Yeah.
Or is this over time? Something that may have happened 2 years or 3 years ago, you're now
Absolutely.
arresting or charging them.
And maybe we need to ask now, of those solved cases, how many of those people back on the streets,
Right.
out on bail, right? Because
But that's
that
not
would
the
say a
police
lot.
fault.
That's not their fault, but it'll be good
That's
to know.
not the police fault. And I think what happened is in our justice system, we work in silos. I think we need to come together. I think there should be collaboration. And I think with the minister who was a defense lawyer, that would be good. Like, to talk with the prosecution. We want to charge this person. This is the evidence. Then the prosecution say to you, that's a bit weak. We need more. Go out there, get more evidence. So work together as opposed. I think what I see, and I could be wrong, there seem to be silos here where you do your stuff in your corner, you do this over here. And so while they may arrest somebody, the evidence may be weak or they went about it the wrong way and the case is either thrown out or the person gets off.
Yeah. Well, let's get your reaction to what the commissioner is saying. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. And also this other story that you mentioned with the 15-year-old boy who carried a high-powered weapon onto a school campus because he had an altercation with another student. The commissioner says he's praying that we never have a situation like a mass shooting. He's going to pray that away. Okay. But we cannot ignore that this is not just in schools, but a potential problem in this country, and we have very lax security. We are not searching people. We're not doing the metal detectors. You can walk into almost any place, and nobody will investigate or look at you, or you could get pretty far into many buildings around here before someone says, hey, who are you? What are you doing here?
Has the police department ever, across administrations, said where they felt that these guns are coming in? Have they ever give any indication where they believe the guns are coming in?
Probably, but we know just recently the Prime Minister met with the Vice President of the U.S. and said we need assistance with that, right?
Well, we know they're
keeping
coming
the
from,
guns off
well, I
the
guess
states.
maybe from the U.S., but have they said it? Is it, persons have said maybe some of these yachts that come into the country that are not properly searched, maybe persons who can come into the country without being searched, maybe some stuff is happening there. Maybe it's coming via the illegal immigration situation on these boats and stuff when people get away. So did they ever give any idea of their intelligence to say generally they feel like this is where they're coming to crack down? Because I think that's our problem. Yeah. We have to deal. I know we are open border, but we have to do more in determining how these guns are coming into our country, because it seems as if anybody who wants a gun can get one. And then with this 15-year-old young man that they arrested for this high-powered weapon, are they using their intelligence to find out where you got this thing from? Where did this come from?
This is what he said about that. He says, this is Fernando, quote, I gave them the officer's instructions. They carried it out, and we found out that other kids live in that house. This is the child's home. There's only one parent. That's the mother. The father is nowhere to be found, and social services right now, as we speak, they're working along with that family to try to assist and move that child from a life of crime and try to steer him in the right direction.
Yeah, but where did he get that gun from? Where did he get it from?
Yeah, we all want to know. We all want to know. Let's go to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, guys. How are you on this morning?
Doing well. Good morning.
First of all, Palm, gun is big business in the United States of America. Okay, there are many avenues that guns come in this country, even by some business persons. Okay, is because everybody seems to want to make a profit, but at the end of the day, they're not thinking about human lives. Okay, I have a solution for the helping us with a new hospital. You see the clinic on Carmichael Road, the one in Flamingo Gardens? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, the government could acquire one block of right in the rear of the clinic at this time, acquire those homes, put those persons in the new homes in the new subdivision, right, and make that a mini hospital. You understand what I'm saying? With all the facilities that we need, and then we won't have to worry about trying to find a solution for that because that will help alleviate the problem in the Southwest region for now. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that'll be a good thing for the government to do instead of just trying to go further west to build a new hospital at this time, because that will take about probably a year or a year and a half to complete. And those persons will have new homes, and the government will be able to give them some finance for the homes that they had before. They do it all the time. Thank you, man.
Okay. All right. I hear you. I wanted to go back to something you said earlier. Yeah, guns are big business in the U.S., absolutely. But again, how does that get to a 15-year-old having
That's
such
my
easy
point.
access to a gun?
A 15-year-old has such easy access to the gun and came to the school.
Yeah.
Came to school with this gun.
And he's thinking that is
What
the way
is
to
your
resolve
intent?
his issue, right? Because that's what we're raising around here. A bunch of people who feel they have to have a gun because they need to deal with something because you disrespected me, and now I got to deal with you with a high-powered weapon. So I hear you, and I see, yeah, how are the guns getting in? Sure.
So what is
But
the
the
intelligence?
demand, this is the same thing with the illegal, the undocumented migrants issue. The demand is the problem. If there isn't demand, there won't be any problem with these things. Get to the root of it. The demand. Why?
So what is the intelligence saying as to how
All those things that you
this
mentioned.
young
It's
man
a-
got this gun?
All the things that you mentioned. Exactly.
He's not talking?
People say you could rent these things.
Yeah.
Right? But you would think he'd be talking by now, right? Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight, and good morning to your guests.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Wonderful. Well, with the hospital thing, I always complaining about that, but a lot of times it goes on deaf ears. But I think the Texas and the earlier caller said enough about that hospital. When it comes to the weapons on our streets, yes, the United States is a gun-toting society, and yes, we probably have some weapons that come from that way, but that ain't the bulk of our problem. If we look to the southeast, where there's turmoil and no government, you see the guns and the high-powered weapons on the streets over there. How you think some of them things, and we got a problem with 400 and 100 and this and that coming on them sloops? Where you think them weapons, those high-powered weapons are coming from? My suspect is they are not AR-15s and stuff that the United States make. Those guns are Kalashnikovs. Those guns are made by Russia, come through Central America, Mexico, and them places, through Haiti. That's where them guns coming from. A lot of those guns. We have the biggest problems with that community over there in this country. And when it comes to bail, when we call the talk shows, some of us that really don't condone the stuff that's going on, but we speak from experience. I had a case, a high-profile case, when I was a younger fella. We went to court, and my lawyer worked a deal. We got bail and everything, signed. We went to lunch across when Green Shutters was over there, sat down to have lunch. And guess who showed up at the table to have breakfast, lunch with us too? The prosecutor. And let me tell you something, he was given an envelope by my lawyer and told what to do. When you hear the police say, we having a problem with these fellas going on bail, getting bail, that's the courts. And the lawyers were doing that way. So what he needs to do is look where the problem is. Thanks for taking my call.
Oh boy. I don't know what to say. It's a serious accusation there. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Wow.
We just seem paralyzed to deal with the problem. We just seem and this is not just the gun situation. This is immigration. We just seem paralyzed. Like we can't go forward. We can't do that because of something else, but we don't know what it is. You know, it's assumed that if this happened, that will affect that thing over there, but then the public is just assuming. We're not getting straight answers as to what's going on. We just seem paralyzed to deal with the issue. For instance, gun violence is a serious issue in this country.
Yeah.
So anybody get caught with a gun, there should be a minimum sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be stiff, sending a message that we do not tolerate this. But we don't get that. We see people getting off on gun charges all the time. So on the justice side and on the sentencing side, it does not match the seriousness of the issues that we are facing with gun violence.
Let's take one more call, and we're going to get through your text messages, and we have to take a break. Good morning, caller on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Strachan. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
I always look forward to these good and impactful conversations you have with Ms. Musgrove, man. And I heard Ms. Musgrove just say, what is the problem, what is the problem, what is the problem? And two things I want to highlight on this gun issue. Do you remember when we were selling BTC, Dwight?
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to say that culture and tradition is our problem, more so our culture. And the culture of corruption that we have in our country where somebody benefits from it. I'll never forget as a young man in our country when BTC was being sold. I was on a line somewhere, and this lady said, "Oh, I don't know what they selling BTC for." I said, "Because I've been paying my child's school fee and paying my mortgage and this and that from working in this particular department for the last this amount of years." And I was like, "Wow!" Like, oh my goodness! Like, listen to the amount of money she makes off of the fact that she works in a particular department, and only God one knows what she does to get access to this this money or whatever. And I was like, wow. And I thought about it. And today in our country, we see the effects of how we don't want to do change in our country because of the culture of corruption. We don't want to make the hard and firm decisions. Let's go back to example. Under the Ingham administration, he was instituted with this gun court or policy where if you were caught with a gun, I think it was like automatic 5 years and like automatic 2 years for every firearm. The preceding administration, let's not look at the colors. The preceding administration afterwards campaigned on the fact that, too many of our young men are being arrested and locked up, and they repealed that entire policy. That gun court fell away, and thereby gun violence in our country escalated at an all-time high again. We do not have leaders that are willing to break the culture of the norm. Listen to what that caller said. It's part of what he just said is true, where this one gets paid and that one gets paid. Until we are ready to break this culture and serious about it, and the effects of it, ain't nothing happening.
Yeah, I hear you.
Dwight.
I hear you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And not even necessarily corruption, just the fact that it's working for you. People want to keep the status quo. And that is a problem because you're not looking outside of yourself. It's fine for me, but you're not seeing that 90% of the rest of the people are being disenfranchised by this, whatever is happening.
And that's why these issues are spiraling out of control.
Yeah. Very, very sad. Okay, so I'm seeing the text flash through, and some of you really, it's just Monday, but you're trying to cause me to...
Just take a deep breath.
Trying to...
Or take three.
To act like it's
Deep
Friday
breaths.
and not show up for the next couple of days, I see. Anyway, okay. This text here, if PMH in Nassau is in crisis, then the Rand in Grand Bahama is a complete catastrophe. Yeah, I think many would agree with you. Someone says here... crime is not solved just because you make an arrest. Yes, that's what we've been saying, yeah. I've been listening to you now for a while, Dwight. What doesn't make you angry? Oh, tell me about it. And the list is getting longer. The list is getting longer. I guess I'm officially an old man now, Pam. I'm angry at everything. These birds are making too much noise. Yeah. Anyway, crimes against text messages make me angry too. Crimes against persons is what makes the public feel safe or live in fear. And that number is alarming, up by a great percentage. Yeah. This one says here, I feel the police are misleading people when they say they have solved a case. An arrest does not constitute solving a crime. What are the conviction rates of those 60% of persons arrested? And of the percentage that have been arrested over the past 5 years, how many of them have been convicted or out on bail, etc.? Let's be honest, that's the only way we can deal with the matter properly. Yep, absolutely.
And then even like of the persons that were arrested in a particular year, how many of those persons had their cases heard before the court?
That's funny. Okay. I want to know if a person is charged, goes to the court, and is found not guilty, does that mean the police reopen that case? And do they reverse their solve detection rate or whatever when that happens? Do they? Yeah. Another one says, your BAMs need to stop with the God versus the devil nonsense. Prayer works. If prayer works, the hospital would be empty, and the walking around, the devil doesn't exist. Oh boy. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I hear you, Dexter. Anyway, the government could have bought the entire town center mall and turned it into a hospital, thus alleviating the pressure off of PMH. Instead, they went ahead and turned it into a not really needed post office. Well, you say that because you don't use it, but there are people who do need it, and people, yeah. So, but anyway, they are the options.
Do
absolutely.
we just need a brand new hospital, or on the operations side, we need to fix some things? Because if we build a brand new hospital and we just take up everything that we're doing in the current hospital over to the brand new hospital, we're gonna have the same issues.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's what we need. We need some brand new things, definitely, but not a
I think it's more.
Yeah.
We need more. We need more than a brand new hospital. That operations, how they operate, how they train staff.
Yeah.
I think all of that, how they're accountable, needs to be looked at.
We need specialized centers. We definitely do. This person says here, boy, let's just call it what it is, Pam. Bahamians are easily bought out. Another text. If our police were more concerned about guns coming from America than drugs coming from America, we would be a better country. Abolish the DEU, replace it with the GEU. I guess it's the, gun enforcement unit? Okay.
But then again,
maybe we just need to expand it? How about that?
Have we heard anything from the police in terms of their intelligence that of the number of guns on the street that we have confiscated, X percentage of them came from the U.S.? The other percentage came from the sloops that come into our waters. See, I know we assume that, but have we had any intelligence to confirm that?
Yeah, good questions. This one says here, we are paralyzed because no one has clean hands. Even if we don't have concrete evidence, we all know that a judge or a police or a lawyer or a politician is not taking cash to make a matter go away, or is taking cash. Which one are you saying? But okay. Anyway, I don't understand the text. Okay, another one here. Did you hear the commissioner's response after he was asked about the doctor's report referring to Minister Jo Beth Colby Davis hitting the officer with a car? Let's see. I know I didn't because it was Friday, and again, who does things like that on a Friday? But let's see. What did he say? He said the matter is closed. He said last May, Police Staff Association Executive Chairman Ricardo Walk said an officer was assaulted by a female driver during a carnival event. Walks did not identify the alleged driver, however, claims that Colby Davis was involved in an incident circulated on social media. When asked about the crime, the claims at the time, Colby Davis said, that is not my character. Okay. Asked on Friday about the officer who made the claims, Fernandez said, quote, I'm not going to go into details with that. That officer, I've spoken to him, and he will be to work. We deal with facts and evidence. That's what we deal with, and that's what you need to go to court. I don't wish to get into any tangle. We don't investigate in the media. We need facts and evidence to go before the court. Other than that, the magistrate and the judge will say, man, y'all go from here. There's no evidence to connect it. Fernandez said, quote, as investigators, you go into it with an open mind, and as you get the facts, it's like a puzzle. As you get the facts, you put a piece here. You investigate, and you go and you get that. It's not just a slam dunk. You go out there and you investigate. Well, okay. Boy, I tell you, figuring out whether someone got hit with a car and everybody's still alive is harder than figuring out who murdered somebody, because they'll charge people in 2 days. It's amazing. But anyway, investigations are not the same depending on the crime, apparently, and maybe who's involved. But it's good to know. They investigate. It's a puzzle. It's beautiful. Good stuff. Okay. Thanks for making me read that, Texter. Appreciate it. That was good. Good. Made me smile. Just a reminder, we are programmed to pay to not have the headache of dealing with the courts, guilty or not guilty. What? Who's we? Did you notice that 99% of all road traffic violations or not, you can just go to the court window and pay without ever seeing a judge? So when the opportunity shows itself, we pay on the front end to not have the issues go to court. I mean, I think people paying because they're guilty. No?
No, not
That's why we.
You mean for road traffic offenses?
You go and pay the fine. Don't challenge it because you probably did it. You'd be paying if you didn't do it? No.
No. Many years ago.
Oh, okay. You sure you want to do this? I see where this is going to go.
I got a ticket for speeding, right? This was a Sunday. I had a two-door Hyundai coupe, and it was a lovely day. I had my windows down, and you know where the old traffic building is just before you reach the Sydney Poitier Bridge. They were hiding behind there. Right?
Hiding behind there.
And I got a ticket because it's amazing, but I never realized the speed limit, the sign. I've never realized until after I got that ticket.
But you should know what the speed limit is.
No, but normally they have you shouldn't go beyond. I never noticed the sign.
Okay.
So, and I was speeding. I got my ticket. And so when I went to pay the fine, I think it was like $250. I went in to road traffic and I said, I came to pay my speeding ticket. I was speeding. And the officer said, wow, you're the only one who walked in here and said, admit that they were. You're the only one who admitted that they were speeding and you came to pay your ticket.
So people are paying without admitting it? I didn't do this, but I'm going to pay?
Probably not showing up to pay for it because, they have that in the system. Because I had a colleague who he had a speeding ticket and years he didn't show up. And one night they pulled him over and they looked in the system and they saw that there was a ticket outstanding. But no, he said he did pay it, but they didn't have any record of it. And it was a good thing he had the ticket with him.
Had the receipt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Some
people, okay. Well, we all have money to waste. If I feel I didn't do anything wrong, I'm going to fight it.
See, that's it. That's why.
Yeah.
But
paying it and anyway.
Yeah, but if you were speeding, you were speeding. What are you going to go to court for? What are you going to go to court for?
There's no denying.
I was speeding. Yeah. My tail light was out, so go and pay the ticket. But obviously, people don't do that.
All right, we're going to take a break. I want to read more of your messages. We'll get to those afterward. This is Morning Blend on a Monday morning, the final Monday in January already. It's almost Christmas again, Pat. Stay with us.
Let's get past about the butts first.
My behavior growing up on the island.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Got a quick look at your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC's Mortgage Specialists. They can provide helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. In your real-time traffic this morning, we've got Mile Butler Highway, heavy traffic from well south of the Fire Trail roundabout all the way up to Tonic-Williams-Darling Highway and the roundabout there. Traffic is backed up a bit on Tonic-Williams-Darling Highway this morning, westbound toward that roundabout. There might even be an incident there, so keep that in mind if you're heading in that direction. Gladstone Road also busy for you just north of Fire Trail this morning, northbound straight to Gladstone Road. Elsewhere, we're seeing some building traffic on Eastern Road, westbound, and Bernard Road, westbound, near the schools in the area, and Prince Charles Drive at the major intersections, and Soldier Road, north of Prince Charles Robinson Road, Some major congestion there on the way to the intersection with Bernard, Wolf, and Village. Those are your hotspots for now. Another update after the 8 o'clock news. Morning Blend Traffic brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
It's
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Float Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. A standard text rate supply. And now at 8:21, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. We've got deep layered ridging situated over the country. That's going to continue to keep weather conditions quiet as locally brisk breezes continue to make their way across the southern islands through tonight. Beachgoers should exercise caution as there's a risk of rip currents along eastern shorelines, especially eastern Atlantic shorelines, as well as the southeast Bahamas. For today, for the northwest and central islands, look for mostly sunny, warm, and breezy conditions with a stray shower or two possible, turning fair and mild tonight. For the southeast Bahamas, partly sunny with some cloudy intervals and windy with a few light, fast-moving showers possible this afternoon, becoming mostly fair and a bit mild and breezy tonight. Temperatures getting up to around 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. In your extended outlook, this quiet weather pattern is going to continue with warm and dry conditions as high pressure continues to build over the islands. Small craft operators and beachgoers should exercise caution in the southeast Bahamas as hazardous boating and beaching conditions expected to continue through to midweek. So for Tuesday, tomorrow, mostly sunny and warm and locally windy with a few spotty showers. Wednesday, the first day of February, look for partly sunny to sunny, warm, and locally breezy conditions with a few isolated showers. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Visit firstonlineinsurance.com and select a Bahamas First agent to purchase, pay, or renew your home or car insurance 100% online, or just stop by any Bahamas First agent. Bahamas First, celebrating 40 years as the first Bahamian general insurance company. What's first for you comes first for us. And it's time for another check of traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. RBC's mortgage specialist can provide helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. In your real-time traffic this morning, Independence Drive, seeing some heavy traffic westbound, especially to the Blue Hill Road roundabout. Building traffic eastbound as well to the East Street, East-West Highway roundabout. Blue Hill Road looking busy for you from St. Vincent Road straight through to the roundabout with Independence Drive and north. As you make your way to Cordo Avenue, you're going to be seeing some heavy traffic there as well. But especially near Soldier Road as you make your way over that hill to the roundabout with Independence Drive. We've got Milo Butler Highway, another hot spot this morning. Heavy traffic from well south of the Fire Trail roundabout all the way up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. In the northbound lanes there, Gladstone Road also busy for you just north of Fire Trail straight up to JFK Drive. Eastern Road is looking busy for you just east of Fox Hill Road to about Johnson Road westbound. Heavy traffic there, not moving much. And then Bernard Road also looking busy for you westbound near the schools in the area. And Soldier Road northbound to Bernard and Wolf and Village Road. Heavy traffic there. Prince Charles Drive looking challenging for you as you make your way to Beatrice Avenue in the westbound lanes. And pockets along East Street seeing some heavy traffic, especially near Soldier Road. Those are your hot spots right now. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
Looking for your first or new home, or even using your existing home as equity, RBC understands that your journey to home ownership is unique and your mortgage financing should reflect that. That is why at RBC we have dedicated mortgage specialists that provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. Best of all, the RBC mortgage team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL. Growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Are you ready to break up with your car? Easy Car Sales invites you to fall in love with an electric vehicle. Ditch the gas pump, the expensive mechanics. Feel the freedom, the power. Visit easy242.com and make a date to test drive an electric vehicle today. Get into a better relationship. Find your perfect match at Easy Car Sales and drive electric happily ever after.
Is your 2023 goal to move into your own home? Well, future homeowner, enjoy another payday. Build or buy a home with financing from CIBC First Caribbean, and you'll receive cash back every month for 1 year. A home is one of your greatest investments, so secure one soon. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/homeowners payday for more info. Offer valid from January 9 through to March 31, 2023. Terms and conditions apply.
Sarah, how are you doing?
Okay.
Are you sure? I noticed you've been down lately.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know. I can't really put into words how I'm feeling, but I know I don't feel like myself sometimes. There's just so much going on in my life. School, friends, sports. Sometimes I worry about different things and feel stressed.
I'm glad you're talking to me. And it's okay to talk about your feeling. It's normal to feel changes depending upon what's going on around you.
Yeah?
Of course. All of us should be concerned with our mental health and our well-being. Good mental health means that we can cope with our everyday stresses. You can talk to me anytime when you feel like it.
Okay. We should have these check and talks more often and take things from there.
Message is brought to you by PAHO WHO and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
With so much going on in the world today, only accepting cash at your business can be risky. Let Fidelity offer you and your customers safety, convenience, and the flexibility of a fixed or mobile terminal. Take it with you, on the move and on the go, because business should never stop. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit us at any of our branches.
Florida Auto Parts can deliver all the auto parts your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket, new or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price.
Early in the morning, as the sun is dawning, I go to the well to get my water today. Get my wood from the bush to make my tea and eat my bread till I fill my belly, then I get ready to.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Pamela Musgrove. And coming up in a few minutes, hey, it's going to happen today. We're talking with Department of Inland Revenue. So it's third time's a charm. So we got it. Okay, so that's great. That's going to start in a few minutes, and we take that into Morning Blend business. But I do want to get through the messages from earlier. We were talking about the state of the hospital and the Commissioner of Police and crime and what he's saying. He sent a lot of very interesting text messages this morning. This person says here, we think we have corruption. The organized crime in Haiti is so serious. Remember the smuggling boat near Arawak Key? Weapons were found on that boat. Some of these sloops came loaded with guns, and we make big money. Hands are greased because we are corrupt to the core. Same with drugs. Oh, boy. Everybody seems to know this, but yet nothing's changing, Pam. What's that all about, right? Everybody says everybody's corrupt, which means everybody knows something, but yet we are where we are. Another one here. Once the police complete their investigation and put individuals before the courts, those matters are solved as it relates to their contributions to our judicial system. We get it. That's what they say, but to the public it doesn't. Right? That word solved means something else. Mm-hmm. And so they're not...
charged would be a better word.
Yeah, well, they think they've solved it, but it doesn't seem so when the person's up and about doing whatever they want, whether they're out on bail or not.
Yeah, but it's not for the police to determine whether or not they solved. They are supposed to arrest and charge, and then the court system will determine that. Check and balance.
This person says that we are paralyzed because no one has clean hands. Another one of these text messages. Wow. We read that already. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Pam keeps using the word intelligence, but in the same sentence with the RBPF, it's an oxymoron. That's not nice. You can't use the word intelligence. Oh, that's another one of those. Wow. What's up with everybody today? Okay. Yeah. That's what we said earlier. The commission did the press conference on Friday because there would be fewer talking points to report over the weekend. Yeah, people know what's up, and it's very sad. This person says here, why are we demanding accountability from the police force? As an auditor, I know to stop issues. I know that you stop issues. You have to kill the root cause. The police force and judiciary are now fully politically polarized. I will trust Jesus instead of our systems.
You're always supposed to be trusting Jesus.
Yes, as you should. I once got pulled over, and the officer said I had a warrant for an unpaid ticket from 8 years prior. I wasn't living in the country. I paid just to avoid court. Okay. I mean, you weren't living in the country, so you could, and you had proof that you weren't, right? Anyway, I don't understand. Okay, this person said,
maybe they forgot. Maybe it wasn't 8 years, maybe it was 9 years, and they forgot. But I know I kept my ticket for a long time because of my colleague saying that, the
receipt from your ticket.
Yeah, and you know what? Actually, after I paid, a couple of years later, I got a call from some police officer saying that this ticket was outstanding. And I said, no way. I have my ticket right here. The ticket that I paid for, I have it right here, the receipt. So that's no way that could be outstanding. Wow. So it was a bit messed up.
All right. This person says here, none of these policies that Immigration Minister Bell announced address illegal immigration. Absence of a work permit isn't stopping any sloop from beaching in Inagua. What we need with immediate effect and for national security reasons is a policy that states that children born to parents, neither of whom is Bahamian or either of whom is here illegally, do not have the right to apply for citizenship. Well, you can't have a policy that states that when the Constitution says something else. But if you want to address the constitutional issue, Texter, which is what we talked about last week, right, we need to have that conversation.
Yeah, I hear that part about the Constitution, Dwight, but the Constitution didn't say that they have to remain in the country. I think what we are doing in the Bahamas is treating our policy like something in the U.S. In the U.S., once you are born in the U.S., you are a citizen. That's not what our Constitution says.
Right.
It says you have the right at age 18 before 19. It didn't say once you were born here. So if someone is born here, it doesn't make them automatically, unless you are a Bahamian or your mother is a Bahamian.
But the fears that people have that you send this person back where they came from and they come back to your country with no connection to the Bahamas and they say, well, I have a right to apply. And so, then who is that?
See, but that's what I'm saying. These things are paralyzing us. So, in order to not deal with something that you're claiming to be, because I haven't heard any officials say that, we are assuming that is what it is. They are afraid. So let everybody stay here until that time, and we are still not giving them when they apply in the country. We are still not adhering to that policy of granting them citizenship by the age of 19.
Yeah, it takes a while. Or we could fix the Constitution.
Or we could enforce the law. Have a law and enforce it.
All of it.
We can enforce the law first until we change the Constitution, because we know the process of changing the Constitution. And we know that's a bit tricky.
That one could be easy, though. This one says here, we, the public, need to see more white-collar crime offenders brought before the courts. There's too much corruption and no one brought before the courts, just people being found slumped over in their... I don't know what this is.
Well, see, I take note of something in the papers, in The Guardian. So on the top right, we have Fernanda. Matter involving Colby Davis is closed. No evidence. Then right beneath that, Lanisha Roll matter, very much active, police says, but they don't say what the charges are.
Right.
And then
what they're investigating.
Right. And I'm reminded of Sam Bankman-Fried, who is now in the U.S. facing a trial of defrauding investors who also had an office here of over billions of dollars. And he was never arrested and charged in the Bahamas until the U.S.
Yeah. Yep.
made
Same
their
thing with
charges.
Peter Nygaard, right?
And so
in Canada,
it's,
he's facing charges and never ever,
It's
even though the
confusing.
crimes were allegedly committed right
Yeah.
here in the Bahamas, never ever,
It's
ever,
confusing
ever
how we go about doing things. And this, is all contributing to crime and how we see crime in the country.
Yeah.
There's just seem to be different standards for different people.
Yeah. Just a few more text messages here. This person says the judiciary system has failed the Bahamas and Bahamians, and I beg anyone to differ. It is a lame disgrace. Nothing is being sorted out because of the courts. Undocumented folks are squatting on land, and government cannot do anything about it. Murderers are walking around free.
They can do something about it.
Well, they're
They
not doing
choose
anything. Yeah.
to do nothing about it.
Yeah. Murderers are walking around free to kill again. Folks are working out of their scope. I guess they're saying work permit holders are working outside of their scope, and the courts do nothing. I give up. We are doomed. This person says here, the Constitution says today the right to apply can be changed by policy for national security reasons. I hear you. This one says, if people are being smuggled into the country from Haiti, why is it so hard to accept that guns and drugs are also being smuggled into our country from Haiti? I don't think anybody's having a problem accepting that. Yeah, wow. There was an earlier message, I don't know where it went, but about us living, or me especially, living in a utopia, and I need to come to the real Bahamas.
What's that?
I
Bahamas.
I don't know, but I need to go deeper into the utopia, you mean. I think that's what they mean. And then we got this message from a doctor, I believe. You got it, Pam. Same culture, same attitude, same management style. It does not hold anyone accountable. Same people who come to work at 7, then have breakfast before starting their job for the day. Same paper-based system that with paper-based charts and sheets falling all over the place. Same billing system that doesn't collect from private insurers when private patients are hospitalized. What? Same procurement process that doesn't monitor power levels, so there are always periods where supplies run out. Same system that doesn't allow you to fire those who are not performing. New equipment without service contracts. Same short-sightedness of building for today's population without considering population growth and expansion. Same managers who have grown up in the PMH culture, who have never been exposed to true quality health care. So put all of that into a brand new building changes very little.
Very well. Very well said. And it goes back to wanting to tax us more to build new buildings, but then you don't fix the operation processes.
Let's take this call really quickly, and then we got to go. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning, Dwight and Palm.
Good morning.
Hi.
Morning. Hi, Dwight. I strongly agree with Palm earlier when she spoke about the maintenance. Every large corporation should have an experienced director of preventative maintenance. Whether they do a monthly or bi-monthly checkup, there should be an experienced person who is in charge of maintenance. There should be preventative maintenance, just maintaining. Do not wait until the equipment on the machine breaks down to maintain it. You have to prevent the maintenance, in other words. But also, Dwight, in fact, that's the reason why when hotels close, they continuously keep the maintenance team on to service the hotel, make sure that they keep functioning. Also, the new policy, Dwight, on work permit with the minister just came up with, I'm not impressed at all. Because I understand they are coming in plain loads to the airport with passport already in their hand. And we keep concentrating on the Haitians as far as work permit. You know, there are other work permit of other nationals and also executives. Just last week I saw an executive what I had in the newspaper, and it's only just for work permit, purpose. You know what I mean? So we keep concentrating on the small things, and meanwhile the big thing is going unnoticed. All right?
Yep, absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I agree with the caller because I know last week I read where there was a gentleman from Albania or some place like that where he was charged with fraud, and they said he was in the country illegally. So he obviously probably came by plane and he overstayed. So you can't be so myopic and looking at this corner over here and deal with those persons. We need a holistic immigration policy that catch everybody, not just the Haitian. Everybody everybody who's violating the law will be caught.
Azerbaijan, apparently.
Pardon me?
Azerbaijan.
Oh, that was quick. Thank you, Dexter. But he was here illegally.
Yeah.
Right?
This text as we go to the break. Guardian Talk Radio, all talk, no action. Great tales reversed. You all ever suggested any remedy directly to the Prime Minister or any government department? If not, why not? Yeah. Every single day, Dexter.
That person is being disingenuous and tricky.
Well,
have you
blame
ever
us.
suggested anything directly?
Yeah.
We don't need to do it directly. We're having the conversation.
But directly too? But, so...
No,
but blame the media, folks.
But I don't have to.
Blame the media for the problems. Yeah, what have you done? Yeah. And then that is what we do, right? That's in our name. But we're not works. But we do. And if you don't hear it, then you are probably part of the problem. Anyway, Department of Inland Revenue, when we get back, stay with us. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
But now I'm looking in the eyes of starvation, 'cause I'm in a bad state. I ain't got no money, no, I'm in a bad state. I don't think that's funny, no.
Whether you're looking for your first or new home or even using your existing home as equity, RBC understands that your journey to home ownership is unique and your mortgage financing should reflect that. That is why at RBC we have dedicated mortgage specialists that provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. Best of all, the RBC mortgage team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Yeah! Come on! Woo! Yeah! You know it! Come on! Yeah, like y'all see no more, you done make me out of bed. I spend the room on me.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Pamela Musgrove, and this conversation is going to continue into Morning Blend business. But we're very pleased. We've been trying to do this for a little while. We finally got it together this morning. Very pleased to have with us in studio Acting Comptroller with the Department of Inland Revenue, Shonda Strachan. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy New Year. Great to have you with us.
Happy to be here.
It's always a pleasure to have you on. Such a wonderful guest. All right, we have a lot to talk about.
Okay.
But let's get this one right out of the way. This is in the news now because the Bahamas Insurance Association issued a statement about this, about health, VAT being added to health. I believe it's doctor's visits outside of what we already see with insurance. Let's talk about this. And we can see there's a statement from the Ministry of Finance. There's a lot. I don't know if this is directly, well, I'm sure it does because you're a tax collector.
Right. So it's all about how we were treating their inputs. Like I started to say, it could get kind of technical, but it has to do with how we are treating the way insurance companies file their claims, right? And so it's been a long-standing matter between the Department of Inland Revenue and the Bahamas Insurance Association. And we've had many meetings back and forth, and we did come to a compromise as to when we would start the treatment. So
this is supposed to start in April?
It will start April 1st. It was supposed to have started July. It was supposed to start prior to that, but now it will begin April 1st. Now, the effect it will have on the regular clients, the Bahamians, we still need to determine how the insurance companies are going to make their adjustments, right? But by and large, what was happening is that the government was bearing the brunt of the VAT, basically how it was being treated. That was how it was being treated.
So let me ask you, so the insurance companies are not supposed to pay VAT?
Right. They're supposed to pass the VAT on.
They pass the VAT on. So if the insurance company, let's say, bought an equipment, or whatever they paid the VAT on, they would claim it from the government, right?
They claim their VAT back.
From the government. So with this new policy, let's say I am a private health insured person, right? I pay my health insurance and I pay VAT on that health insurance, right? So if I go to the hospital for, let's say, a procedure, if the insurance company is now saying that I would not also have to pay VAT on that procedure because they're not going to deal with that because they won't be able to get their funds back.
So again, we need to know how they plan to transition.
But they're saying it here.
I hear you, but again, it is still a matter that is
up for discussion,
right?
Okay.
And I'm not sure at this point how they are planning on transitioning to transitioning in their treatment with the client.
Okay. So what if they say they're going to
sure.
pass that on to us as a private insurer?
Well, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. Okay. I can't speak to what they're going to do at this point.
So the code required it to be on everything, doctor's visits and procedures like that. That was how it was supposed to be.
Yes.
But it just wasn't necessarily happening.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
So they're saying that health insurance will most definitely go up because they're giving it to us. That's what's said in the papers. They're saying that they're passing it on to us.
So this is not a new thing. This isn't because the VAT was reduced from 12 to 10.
No. There was no change in any legislation, right? They were treating it in a certain way, and we allowed them to do that for a period of time. We advised them that the treatment was incorrect, and we gave a certain time for it to be corrected, and that kind of went on for a bit. So we have given them an opportunity to make some changes. And so, I mean, the talks are going on with the ministry, and so we will see what happens.
Should we be concerned that it's starting in the middle of the fiscal year and not in July? Does that mean anything? Or not in January?
Well, it was to start July past.
Right.
Right? So there has been an extension already.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So we'll is it likely that there could be another delay as the talks continue?
I can't say.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Interesting things. Interesting times.
One quick question. If someone go to the public hospital, Princess Margaret, do they pay VAT on their bill?
No.
Okay.
On medical services at the hospital?
Yeah.
No.
No?
Why is that? That's not a question for you. Okay, all right. So that's it's good to know though. That's interesting to know. All right, so you really want to talk about business licenses and real property tax and all that stuff. All right, so we've been hearing a lot from you over the past few months about this, and lots of questions people have about this. But what's changed? What's new? And what do folks need to know? We'll get to all that stuff about landlords and in a bit. But generally, what's happening with business licenses that people need to be taking note of?
I think the biggest thing for us this year is to focus on turnover, right? We want persons to ensure that they're filing accurate turnovers. Mm-hmm. We want them to be able to, if called to do so, give us some indication, verification of how the turnovers are derived. We're seeing a lot of businesses are filing turnovers under $100,000. Okay, so if you're a business generating a turnover under $100,000, it's you. First of all, you are exempted from paying business license fees. Mm-hmm. Now the question then becomes: are you truly making under $100,000 a year? Mm. $100,000 a year kind of translates into $8,333 a month, thereabouts, right? So if you break it down, then it makes it more, it's simple, and it gives you a better understanding of where you do fall as a business person. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about $833 a month, you're talking about around $1,923 a week, or you're talking about $333 a day, right? So if you are not making $100,000, then basically you're not bringing in $333 in a day. Mm-hmm. That's how we kind of look at it, right? That's the easy way to look at it. Mm-hmm. And if you translate that to various businesses out there, from the small business right on up to the medium-sized business, the question really is, all these businesses that fall outside of that threshold, is that really accurate, right? Mm-hmm. And what impact is that having on our revenue?
So how are you determining that? Are you just breaking it down to say, well, you should at least be making X amount of dollars per day, and if you're not, then why are you in business? What are you using to help? Because people tend to want to avoid paying taxes. Yes. That's just natural.
Yes.
Especially if they feel that the tax is overburdensome. Right. They're going to find ways to not pay taxes. Right. So with small businesses, they're just going to use cash. They will tell you straight up.
Okay, so it goes back to what is turnover, right? Mm-hmm. Turnover is not your net profit. Mm-hmm. No, right? It's just revenues. It's all monies or money's worth coming into your business before any deduction. Mm-hmm. So before you pay your employees, before you pay any expenses, what are you bringing into the business, right? What comes in? So if you are, let's say, a liquor merchant, how many cases of liquor are you selling in a day, right? If you're selling food, what's that look like in a day, right? And I'm starting really low, but this translates to bigger businesses as well, right? We want you to file an accurate turnover. That's critical. What are some of the questions we may ask? We may look at your expenses. We may look at what is your BPL bill look like, right? What are you paying in national insurance? That kind of gives us an idea. If you are spending this amount, then it stands to reason that really you should be bringing in revenue in a certain range, right? So this year, again, the focus is on revenue because, again, we need to hit some targets. We need to hit some revenue targets.
So you're asking companies to come in with that information, the bills or...
First of all, we're asking them to file accurate turnovers, turnovers that are realistic, first of all, right? And so the delay in processing the business license comes about when we have to be bantering back and forth, right? So a business files, they made zero turnover. That's a common one. Turnover for last year, $0. So, okay, so were you closed for the whole year? What was going on? Why was your turnover $0? So we give the taxpayer an opportunity to explain, and then it may lead to us doing some other things. We do have other data that we get. We have other data sources that we compare to. And so again, the focus this year is on ensuring that people file the right return.
Is there a division in inland revenue to help businesses that are struggling? Because, I mean, to get all this information now, someone says, okay, I only made $6,000 for the year. And it could very well be a lot of businesses are operating at a loss. They may have friends and family who pump in money into the business to help them. So if you're going to go that far to try to understand their expenses, are you providing relief and help to businesses who may be struggling on how to probably operate their business better?
So that's not the role of the Department of Inland Revenue. We are a tax collection agency.
Right.
There are other departments, other agencies that carry that remit. That's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is to make sure that the Bahamians, the tax dollars that is needed to get into the Treasury to meet whatever commitments the government has, whatever portion of that we are responsible for collecting, and that is business license fees, real property tax, and value-added tax, that we collect what's out there to be collected.
Yeah.
That's our role.
I understand. But then do you think your role is then to have persons bringing their expenditure to sit down with you to go through it to ensure that their revenues is what they say it is?
So if you are at that level, so if you are earning a turnover over $100,000, then you are in that category where you will be required to have an accountant certification, right? So hey, responsibility comes with owning a business, like owning a property, right? Yeah. There are certain tax implications. Now we are fortunate in that businesses, small businesses, they aren't taxed right now. There is no business license fee on the really, truly small business. Challenge that we've been having is a business really where it says it is? And there are concerns that not really.
So what happens when you find it very hard to believe that this company is making less than 100,000, the turnover is less than that? What do you do? What have you done?
Okay, so it may be we have different steps of escalation, again, depending on the revenue risk, right? So if we deem that this is a business where we are at a significant level of revenue risk, meaning we stand to lose, the government stands to lose revenue, we will refer the matter maybe to our desk audit team, that's the first level, maybe to our field audit team, where they will begin to get third-party data. Let's say you are in the business of, I don't know, selling clothing. Well, we don't make clothing in the Bahamas, so you're importing that stuff, right? So we may liaise with our colleagues at the customs and get an understanding of what you've been importing. And that will give us an idea of what are your sales like. If you're importing at this level, then it stands to reason that your sales should be at a certain point, right? And again, I know you're going to say not really, but then again, you will be able to show that, right? If you've had an injection of capital in your business, well, you have the records to show that, right? So again, all we're saying is, if called upon to do so, you're going to need to verify.
Okay,
right?
so let's use the clothing example. You went to customs and you found this was a certain amount of clothing that they bought in. And they told you, well, I just didn't sell them.
Right.
The stuff is still there. Would you go to check the inventory to make sure it's there?
That's a process of field audit, right? They may need to go out to the business to see what's going on. But again, it goes back to risk. And what is the risk revenue-wise for the government of losing revenue? Right?
And when you find that a company is not being honest, not being truthful, what happens after that?
Well, there are several things again. The first thing is we may move to assess a business. We may assess them because based on their records, based on our investigations, we see that a certain amount of revenue was not filed, and we move to make an assessment on them. We make an assessment, then they're liable to pay the tax, right? So that's the first step. Now, you talk about collecting. What steps of enforcement do we have? And again, there are several depending on the tax. If you're talking about value-added tax, there is garnishment. We have done that, where we may go to the banks, deem them agents, right? We may go to someone that owes the business again, deem them an agent. So let's say you're a business and you work for a particular company and they have funds owing to you. We may deem them an agent and have them pay those funds directly to us. So, I mean, there are other things that we have not used yet.
I was going to ask you, so have you used that at any point?
We've used that. Yes, we have.
And what percentage? Like, what percentage of the businesses that you found were delinquent that you have used that?
We've not used it on many because, again, we have been, what's the word? We have been trying to foster a relationship and we've been trying to foster the whole notion of persons being voluntarily compliant, right? So we have gone a long way. We've offered a remuneration program, which if persons have been assessed, it allows them to come into us and we have the conversation. We advise them, like you said, how do we advise businesses? Will we advise them on what we think would be best for them moving their business forward to be compliant. For example, we will tell them you need to begin to deposit your funds on a regular basis, right? You need to keep records. You should have records. The law mandates that you have records. You should maybe engage the services of a professional who could help you keep track and monitor your accounts. If they are prepared and willing to sign on to that type of arrangement with us, with that type of monitoring, then there are some things that we may be able to do, like look at their penalties and surcharges, putting them on a payment plan. We do offer payment plans, so that's something we do quite often.
All right, we need to take a break. When we come, we're going to find out about some of the things you've not done yet that you are that you can possibly utilize. Okay. We're talking with the acting controller at the Department of Inland Revenue, Shonda Strachan. This is Morning Blend, about to be Morning Blend Business. When we get back, stay with us.
Glad to see you back in the office.
Who?
Bill.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think you're mistaking me for someone else.
Tom.
Nope.
Jack.
No.
Alex.
No. Want me to just tell you?
Nope, I got this, George.
No, you don't. Still not me.
Adam.
Not even close, man.
We're like a coworker that didn't forget your name. CG Atlantic Agents and Brokers. Good like that.
Okay, good to see you, Mike John.
It's Mordecai.
Whether your business is in-store, on the go, or both, let Fidelity work with you to maximize your customers' payment options with a fixed or mobile terminal so that you never miss a sale. It's safer than cash and more convenient so that you can take your business anywhere. For details, contact a business development officer today at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport, or visit our website at fidelitygroup.com.
Florida Auto Parts can deliver all the auto parts your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket, new or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price.
Are you ready to break up with your car? Easy Car Sales invites you to fall in love with an electric vehicle. Ditch the gas pump, the expensive mechanics. Feel the freedom, the power. Visit easy242.com and make a date to test drive an electric vehicle today. Get into a better relationship. Find your perfect match at Easy Car Sales and drive electric happily ever after.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Monday, January 30th, 2023. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Pamela Musgrove, and we continue our conversation with Acting Comptroller with the Department of Inland Revenue, Shonda Strachan. Having a great conversation so far. Before the break, you talked about some of the tools that you have at your disposal. You mentioned some things that you have not implemented as yet for those who, when you find that they've not been truthful, that they are turning over less than $100,000 annually. So what are some of the things you can do when you find out that somebody's not being honest?
Okay, so we talked about auditing them, investigating through third-party data of turnovers that are declared. But if you look at a person who has arrears, significant arrears, and I'm talking about the three tax types: business license, value-added tax, or real property. They are not making any effort to settle those arrears. Then yes, there are things that we have done and things that we are now going to begin to do that maybe we have not done before. So, for example, we have now gone to engaging the mortgagees, right? They are now responsible for paying the real property taxes of their clients if the clients aren't making the payments. Think about your insurance. If you have a mortgage and you're not paying your homeowner's insurance, what happens? The bank pays it, right?
It's added to your loan balance.
It's the same. Well, it's the same with taxes, right? The government has first charge on the property, not the bank. The taxes have to be paid, whether it's paid by, I call the two owners. I call it the two owner system. If you have a mortgage, you don't own it outright.
Right.
The bank helps you with that ownership. Let me put it like that. And so if you are not able to pay your taxes or you're not paying it, then there is an obligation for the bank, of course, to make those payments. You look very puzzled.
I know people were.
Why are you a horn?
People were. It makes sense what you're saying, but many people were very upset about this or were angry about this a few weeks ago. I'm trying to understand.
I understand.
You understand why they're upset?
Nobody wants an additional bill. You're already struggling to pay your mortgage. You have to pay the house insurance, but again, it comes with property ownership, the taxes. We already enjoy an exemption. So if you are a homeowner, you live in your property, you are exempted from $300,000. So $300,000 of the value is not taxed.
Right.
So think again, translate that, start to think about neighborhoods in your head, right? Depending on the neighborhood you live in and the type of home that you have constructed, if that value falls under $300,000, then you're exempted. The challenge comes with those properties or for property owners who were not keeping current and they have racked up significant arrears. And over the years, those arrears were not being serviced. So what do? We can't allow that to go on indefinitely because then what do you have? You have the government having significant revenue arrears out there to be collected. So the banks have begun to make good on those arrears, and we're very happy to be working along with them. Another thing that is in the legislation that we've never done is the power of sale. And so the Act gives us the right to really sell a property. Now, the right is not for owner-occupied Bahamian properties. It is for other property classifications. So again, if there are significant arrears, and we've gone through a long process of trying to collect with you, that is, the right is there for that. We've moved to outsourcing a lot of our arrears to private collection. Again, that's something we did it. We started it in 2016, and we are kind of going back onto that program as a way to assist the department in bringing in some of those long-standing arrears.
Okay, so persons who have mortgages, what about persons who don't have a mortgage? They've probably already paid it off, or they never went to the bank, because a lot of Bahamians bill out of pocket, ASU, take out a consumer loan to build their place.
So again, we encourage those persons to come in, make a payment arrangement.
Right. But how are you dealing with those? Because the persons who have the mortgage, they would be penalized because the bank would hold on to their papers until they're current. So once they're current, and let's say a person has paid off their mortgage and they're current with their real property taxes, then they can get their papers back from the banks.
Right.
Right. So that person who does not have a mortgage, how are you finding those persons?
Okay. So those persons aren't being left out. Again, it depends on the classification of the property. If it's a commercial property or if it's we call it mixed use property, it may be like a duplex. Then again, the government does have some avenues in order to collect its taxes. We have never done, we've never employed the power of sale option, but it is there, right? Other things we can do, I mentioned the garnishments before. I know a lot is being said out there in the airwaves about this whole tenant-landlord relationship, right? I'm having so many questions along that. Even from business license, like, why are they asking us for our assessment numbers? Okay. So if you are a tenant and you're renting and you are applying for your business license renewal, we're saying to you, give us the assessment number for the property you are renting. And of course, we're getting the response, the landlord won't give us that information. And we say, okay, fine. Then give us the name of the landlord. You got to know the name of your landlord.
But why would you put that?
I'm going to get there. Give us the name of the landlord and, of course, the location of your business because we normally do location verifications every now and again. So it's time for us to do that, right? That's not putting anything on them to give us that information. Again, we have the right to ask for information from any taxpayer, right? If you are a business license applicant, we have the right to ask for certain information that will help us in the collection process. The Act allows for that, right? The secretary can ask you for certain information, and that is a part of what we now need in order to verify real property tax, our real property tax roll, and to verify some things on our business license roll, right?
For those who aren't familiar, just let people know what you're doing when you in this situation with the landlord and the tenant.
Okay, so again, if you're a tenant and you've applied for a business license, we're asking you to give us the assessment number for the property where that business is located. You don't have it, okay? You don't know it, right? We're not saying to you, we want you to jump through any hoops to get it. If you don't have the assessment number, then we go to the next step. Fine, then give us the name of your landlord and tell us where your business is located. Not Blue Hill Road, right? Those are the kind of directions you normally get. Nassau Street, Blue Hill Road. You don't get any particulars. We want you to give us the exact location of the business and the name of your landlord, right? And then we process your business license, provided all the other requirements are there. We're not asking for much this time. We're just asking for you to give us accurate turnovers, and then we're asking for the real property tax information. If your business is under $100,000, if the business generates over $100,000, then we need, of course, your accountant certification.
And if the landlord's in arrears, what happens?
Okay, I know you're going to ask that, Dwight. All right, so if the landlord is in arrears, that does not hinder your business license. You the tenant, right? You the tenant, we will still process that business license. So then somebody say, now, what's the point then? Okay. The point is then we are looking at the landlord's real property tax arrears. Also, if the landlord is involved in commercial rental, does that landlord have a license to be involved in commercial rental? Right? And then it goes back to your question earlier. So if the landlord is in arrears, what? What are you going to do about it? Well, the Act allows for us to garnish under the Real Property Tax Act. You could check Section 24-ish, somewhere around there, right? We can garnish the tenant, right? It is one of the provisions in the Act. So if the landlord is significantly, think about a shopping center and think about the tenants in that building. That landlord is significantly in arrears. They haven't made any effort. Now, this is after we have made effort to contact, effort to collect. This is the stage we're at. So this isn't going to happen in cases that are not extreme. So I don't want people like thinking that's the first thing we're going to do. This is not a first option.
So you're not doing this now, or are you?
We haven't done it yet. We are moving to it.
Okay, my issue is.
I know she has an issue.
When you garnish, this is coming from the rent that the tenant is paying to the landlord.
Yeah, and the act deems that person compliant. Right?
So are you going to protect that tenant from being evicted from the landlord? Yeah.
Well, the act deems them compliant. So
it's an uncomfortable situation for everybody.
It is.
Yeah.
For many,
but you know what? I think what we do need to focus on is not getting to that point.
Right.
You're focusing on the things that we can do that are punitive and that are painful. We are saying to you, let's not get to that point, right? Come in, make a payment plan arrangement with us. Stick to the payment plan arrangement with us, right? We are willing to work with you on all tax fronts, but you need to make the effort, right? That's what has led us to this point. You have to make the effort to keep your tax obligations current.
So for many years, we have been down to the bottom of the list for the ease of doing business. For many, many years, we have not done a good job in this country of helping businesses operate smoothly.
Okay.
And I feel that that policy of requiring the tenant to have this information or to get this information adds to this challenge of doing business.
I totally disagree with you.
Let me finish. Why not have on the form for them to give their exact location?
It's there.
And the name of the place that they are renting. And when they give that, you in inland revenue get your field agents and go to make sure.
So we are doing that.
That's what I'm saying, but not to hold up that business license
we're not holding
for that
it up.
tenant to, first of all, give me, what's the number they had to give first?
The assessment number?
The assessment number. I don't know that. Okay, because that seems you having a conversation. It should be on the form. And if you don't know that, I think you should give the exact location and the name of whatever the plaza is, and then you go and do what you have to do and not put that responsibility on the tenant to do that.
I hear you, and where I disagree is we're not putting a responsibility on the tenant. You are renting. You don't know the name of your landlord. What you have to go look for?
Okay, no, but put it on the form because sometimes some businesses are rented in company name. So the landlord may be Dwight Strachan because he can afford to rent buildings. Dwight Strachan, but Dwight Strachan may have that property in another name, a company name.
But
and
that's
so you
fine. That's what you do.
name. You don't know that as a tenant.
How are you paying your rent?
Huh?
How are you then paying your rent?
When you have your
tell
agreement.
me.
No, when you have an agreement. So you aren't gonna ask for the rental agreement.
We can.
But then do that.
Yeah,
All I'm saying
we
is
can,
what should happen is when this tenant goes to apply for their business license or renew their business license, that should not be something they have to go and get. It should be on the form without having them to go to the landlord to get this information to go to inland revenue. I think
First of all, there is no going. Everything is online. You apply for your business license, you can do it from your bed. So you're not going anywhere. Secondly, it is information that you have. There's no way you are renting from someone or paying rent to someone and you don't know who you're paying it to. If it's a company, well, you tell us the company.
So there's on the form it has the name of your landlord, the form that they complete for their business license. Do they have on that form? Could you put the name of your landlord?
Okay, so
assessment number and the location.
Okay, so that would be on the initial business license application, but now you're doing a renewal, right? So that information or those fields, as you put it, is not on a renewal. A renewal is really simple. You're going into that renewal and all you're really putting is your turnover for the previous year.
Right.
And then you put in requirements or you upload requirements, whether that requirement is the accountant's certification. When that gets submitted to us, then we have the liberty of asking you certain things.
But see, that's
right?
a challenge because it makes it
How
difficult.
is it a challenge?
Because this is everything that is required should be on the form for the tenant to submit, and they have access to information. They give it to you, and you process that business license without this back and forth. I need this, unless you're dealing with the numbers.
Okay, so again, it's no back and forth, right? You submit a business license application. We have a period in which to process that. You submit the business license application and we come back to you. And first of all, we have said this year that we want to know the assessment number or the name of the landlord.
But then that was supposed to be on the form initially.
I hear you keep talking about this form. Okay, so we should have upgraded the system to put it there. We are doing that, right? So it would be a field going forward in the system for it. Right now, it's in the notes, right? You would have to type it in the notes. So if you're saying that is inconvenient, okay, I hear you. This is the first year we've moved back to this. You would have put in the assessment number when you initially applied. Now you're in the renewal process, and that's one of the things we're asking you to provide us with. What is the name of your landlord? I still don't see how that is painful if you know who your landlord is. And again, how could you not know who your landlord is?
Okay, so in the form, my landlord is John Doe. They give you the form, and that's a smooth process.
That's
what you're
fine.
saying.
Yeah, we take it from there. There is another step that we're doing.
So going forward, what should businesses who are going to need to be renting spaces, what should they keep in mind? Do they need to ask their landlord this information? Are you paid up?
If you are renting for the first time, meaning you are starting your business up for the first time, one of the requirements for a new business is a copy of the rental agreement. We do ask for that. So that's standard for new business. And so we will have it at that point, right? A renewal is like a verification as well. So some things could have changed. You could have gotten a new landlord in there. The building could have changed hands. Let's say you were renting in a shopping plaza for the last 5-6 years, and that building changed hands. So your landlord, who was your landlord when you initially started the business, is somebody different now, right? The question is, have we been updated on the real property tax side of that information? We should have been. You providing us with the name of your landlord on this side, we do a verification on that side as well. So there are a number of things we're doing by this simple question of who is your landlord, right? Does that person have a rent, like I said, a commercial renter's license, meaning business license to rent commercial spaces? That's a big one as well.
So will you be informed as a tenant that, well, this landlord is in arrears, is behind?
Oh, definitely. That process has nothing to do with the business license process that you're in. If it is, we will be coming back to you. If we are appointing you an agent.
I read a couple of years, probably 2021, that's not a couple of years, but I read back in 2021 where it was said that you have more of a challenge in collecting real property taxes for foreign homeowners than you do for local homeowners. Is that correct?
I would say yes. In some regards, yes, because that person isn't always here. That's one of the challenges we've had, right? So you have foreign homeowners or foreign property, meaning vacant land owners, and you don't get to connect with them. You send them bills. It's difficult to find them because they're more than likely away more than they're here, or they're on the family island, and it's difficult to go to them directly. A lot of those properties that are in arrears, we've outsourced for private collection. So we are seeing some rewards on that front.
So with locals, if they have a mortgage, you are able to deal with the bank. How are you able to deal with the foreigner with his property if he's not paying his real property taxes?
So as I kind of alluded to before, we have outsourced some of the arrears to private collections, international private collections, and that has been fruitful. And another thing we are going to do is employ the power of sale, right? There is the right for the government. Of course, we're not in the business of selling properties, but we are at that point where that is an option that we are going to utilize.
I just wanted to make sure it's fair, because sometimes what we tend to put a lot of the pressure on local businesses and locals in our community, and we allow foreigners to get away in the name of providing a few jobs for Bahamians.
Right.
So I've seen a lot of hotel condominiums coming up. You got a hotel room, and because of you have a certain amount of hotel rooms, you get concessions. But you have some condos attached to that. Are you charging real property taxes for those condos?
Okay, that's a very good question and a hot topic. All right, so yes, there are heads of agreements, lots of heads of agreements for these big developments where they are exempt from real property taxes, right? What should happen is if they are in a pool, we call it a hotel pool or condo pool, meaning they have purchased a condo in a development, in an upscale development. They are renting that for a part of the year. They reside there for a part of the year. They benefit from the development's pool, meaning they pay no real property tax. But what they should be doing, what the development should be doing, or them as a property owner, is paying VAT on the period the property is rented, right? That's supposed to be the set off. So let's say they're residing in the property for a month out of the year, and then they rent it for 9 months out of the year, or for the other 10, 11 months out of the year. The income generated from that is VATable, and they should be remitting that. Now, has that been going well? Not really. And so in July, the government implemented a hotel condo tax. And what the hotel condo tax does, it is directed towards properties that are enjoying the benefits of the rental pool, but that are not remitting VAT from renting their properties.
This applies to Airbnb as well?
Well, we're going to get to that because that's
Okay.
a different kettle, but we're also dealing with short-term vacation rental properties. Separate topic though.
All right.
So with the hotel pools now, the new hotel condo tax, which comes into effect this month, right? So we're in the process of sending out bills. First of all, verifying the developments that offer the pool exemptions, verifying how many of their properties are in the pool and enjoying those benefits, and then sending out bills, right? So the bills will then be, it's almost like a hybrid between VAT and real property. How do we bill them? We look at the VAT that they've paid for the previous year. Well, the previous 6 months, so we'll be doing it on a half year in this first dispensation. But it will be the VAT paid on the previous year compared to what the real property tax would be if they were paying real property tax at the residential rate.
You know, all of them would be the max, because those condos are pretty pricey. So they're all at the max.
And so we are then going to look at VAT paid, balance that against what we would be getting in real property tax, and the difference, if they are not paying any VAT, then of course the whole, I don't want to say real property tax, they say that it's not real property tax, the whole condo tax will come into play.
Okay.
Right?
How much are you projecting? You haven't been doing this. You're just going to start
We're just starting now.
Are you going to do retroactive, or are you going to start from this particular point right now?
No, it's based on last year's VAT submissions.
Okay.
Right? And it begins this year.
How much are you projecting that you will get in revenues you will get from this segment?
A considerable amount, because as I said before, our data suggests that we're not getting the VAT from these properties, either because they're not renting on a consistent basis, or maybe for some other reason.
They're doing the same thing Bahamians do. They're trying to find ways to pay as least amount of taxes as possible.
So then what we're asking is we're asking for your help in getting the word out there. Pay your taxes.
Well, I can't help you with the
Pay your
condos, with the
taxes.
international condominiums. That's
no.
something that
I think
Inland has
those,
to do.
and we will do it, right? We are going to do it. We are going to use the tools out there. So this, me talking to you, is our way of saying it wasn't done before, but we're doing it now. We have no choice.
All right.
No choice.
We need to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the short-term rentals, Airbnb, and we've got a whole lot of text messages.
What time is it?
We're here till we have you until the end of the show, right? No, we'll talk about this during the break. Let's Morning Blood Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
With so much going on in the world today, only accepting cash at your business can be risky. Let Fidelity offer you and your customers safety, convenience, and the flexibility of a fixed or mobile terminal. Take it with you, on the move and on the go, because business should never stop. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit us at any of our branches.
Legacy College Readiness and Tours. Already get the first set of knowledge. Now it's time to prepare you for college. You're thinking so much you gotta do. Legacy will handle that for you.
Looking for a college connection that's thorough, supportive, and proactive? Get on board with Legacy College Readiness and Tours today. My name is Whitley Cargill. I am a student who benefited from Legacy College Readiness and Tours. Erica Morris, the president of Legacy College Readiness and Tours, ensures that you have a great ride through a program. You will receive unprecedented access to college information, college campuses, and college advisement based on where you want to go and what you're looking for. Expand your knowledge and your experience. It's tailored to you. Look forward to Legacy College Readiness and Tours. Get on board today. Contact us at 242-809-5278 or email us at legacycollegetours@gmail.com today.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Morning Blood Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Pamela Musgrove. We're talking with the very much in demand acting comptroller of the Department of Inland Revenue, Shonda Strachan. Been told we only have a couple minutes left with her, but we have so much to talk about. But anyway, okay. You mentioned short-term rentals. Where do things stand with that now?
Okay, so every Bahamian is getting in that market,
Yes.
right? Mm-hmm. Regulating it, the Ministry of Tourism will do the regulations. But as it stands now, we're just about to launch, meaning the Department of Inland Revenue is about to launch the short-term vacation portal where you will go and register your property. We have a portal that gives us all of the short-term vacation rental properties in the Bahamas. It's quite a nice portal. Mm-hmm. It shows us on each island so you'll see the circle with the number, let's say the number of short-term vacation rentals in Pinewood, right?
How are you getting that number and how do you know you have
so
everybody?
we do have assistance. We have engaged some consultants that helped us develop this platform. And what they do is scrape data. They call it scraping. Scrape data from all of the platforms, the Airbnbs, VRBO, Home and Away. And so they have gone onto those platforms and they have gotten data off of those platforms of everyone who is in the market and renting, right? Whether it be foreign homeowners or foreign property owners or Bahamians. And so we are now developing our portal for that. Again, then it comes with, are you paying the taxes that comes along with that, right? And we are particularly interested in the foreign market, those foreigners who own properties. We have a lot of persons that own properties in the Family Islands, and they are renting those properties for very good dollars, right?
So how do you get those persons who are not on those vacation home rental sites?
Right. Okay, that's a good question.
Because there are a lot of those persons
and they're renting to
who are not,
Bahamians.
and others.
So a part of what we're doing in constructing our portal is not only looking at those sites. If you have a short-term property, you are advertising it somewhere, whether it be Facebook or Twitter or one of these social media sites. So we're not only looking at the platforms, the traditional platforms, but we're also looking through social media. So again, there will be the process of registration and then paying the taxes that come along with being in that business, because it is a business.
Yeah. And that starts when again?
We're going to launch that really soon. It's technically already started, meaning those persons in that business should already be paying that. But the regulation of it is going to start within this month, by the end of February.
I don't know if you would know the answer to this, but in certain countries like the U.S., more developed countries, they have zoning for short-term rentals. So you cannot have a short-term rental in certain areas.
Yes.
Are we headed there, or
I think we're going to be headed there. That's not under our purview, but that is what's going to come with. I think that's going to be a part of registration and regulating the industry.
All right, we're running out of time, but let's see. Can we get a couple of these questions in really, really quickly? Okay. Well, so boy, I don't know what that is. I see people renting cars without a business license. How big a problem is that? What's happening there?
So, our compliance department is looking into some of those complaints. We thank the public because we are getting quite a bit of intel where persons are directing us towards businesses that aren't properly registered. So aside from having a business license, they need to have a license from road traffic for renting cars, renting vehicles. So we're looking into those, and any information is welcomed.
Yeah. This texter is asking, please ask why it's so difficult for people to find out if they owe property tax. Will this be something that can be accessed electronically? And lastly, if I'm renting and want to run a business from my unit, why would I need to impose on my landlord to find out if they are compliant? My landlord's compliance or non-compliance should have nothing to do with me, I guess. It should only be the landlord's issue.
So let me take the last one first. And I agree with them. And it has nothing to do with them. We're not asking them if the landlord is compliant. We're asking them who is their landlord, right? And then we will deal with the landlord. We're not asking them to go and get any information. We're asking them about the information that they already have at hand. And the first question you asked was...
why is it so hard to find out about?
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are making it simpler for the taxpayer, or I should say the property owner. We have had that complaint that it is difficult, and we understand that it's because of the increased demand for assessment numbers at one time. You may also know that legislation was passed in July again that now says that the assessment number has to be on any legal document relative to property transactions. So if it's a conveyance or a lease, you need that assessment number. So we do have a high demand right now for assessment numbers. So we, instead of you coming into us or emailing us, we do have a portal now that you submit your requests through. And that should make it easier for you to get sorted.
I got an
So we
email.
will-
I get emails, but it goes in my junk mail, and I just accidentally. Oh well, look. Oh boy, and let me save this. But that's how we're getting the information. It's emailed to most people with the absence of the portal.
You're talking
The
about
portal?
an assessment number,
Right.
Bill,
Or, I mean, well,
if
just whether you
request
are
it,
required,
right? So if you
whether-
are okay. So backtrack. We have tried this year and last year to email tax bills. So we were doing email bills. It went okay. As we use
people
not
need to check
only
their junk mail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people need to check their junk mail, right? And we try to use addresses like that you use when you go to pay your utility bill. So we tried a number of different things this time. We're trying to make it very easy for taxpayers to get their tax bills. There's a new portal again coming out that where you can go in and just sign up and do all of that stuff online.
Okay. All right. I'm renting half of my house. Do I have to pay the government tax? Please let me know.
Okay, you're renting half of your home as a dwelling or as a commercial business. And I say that because people have now, some persons have split their home and the other part is not a dwelling, meaning where another family is, but it is a commercial enterprise. So that carries a different type of classification. If you're renting to if you have a house and you have put on, let's say, an efficiency or put on a unit, you don't need a business license for that, right? That's fine. What would happen though, tax-wise, is the classification of that property changes from strictly owner-occupied to owner-occupied / residential. So your exemption now will only be on the portion that you dwell in, and then the other portion will be taxed at the residential rate.
All right. This person is asking about the short-term rentals. The numbers to how much you're going to have to pay. That has that been determined as yet? What that would look like?
So from the short-term rental, there is no registration fee. For you to register on our portal. When we launch our portal, there will be no registration fee. And again, if you are getting a business license for short-term rental, the initial license, there is no fee for that. Now, if you start to generate, again, turnover over $100,000, then of course you know you're in the league where you begin to pay business license and value-added tax.
Before we let you go, Pam, we were talking about this off air. You want to bring this up on air about the very wealthy Bahamian who allegedly sold some property abroad, and how if this were in other countries, the government would make money from that, right?
Say it again. So,
Dwight, go ahead.
I have to get my pen because this may be a new revenue stream.
If you are making money, a commercial sale from in other countries, I mean, if you're a resident of other countries, you have to declare that, right? For tax purposes. And often you make money from that. You've sold property costing millions, and the government gets revenues from that
So you mean you are, I'm going to call you a real estate agent, but you're a foreign-based real estate agent that sold a Bahamian property?
Okay, let's say
Tell me how it goes.
Dwight came into some money and he purchased a property in the U.S.
Oh.
And he sold it.
For millions.
For millions of dollars. Dwight does not have to pay the Bahamas government anything.
We don't have income tax or wealth tax.
Okay, that's what he's saying. But in countries around the world, you can't do that.
You
can't live in the country.
So then,
and then make those types of deals
Right.
and still not pay the government
Right.
anything.
So those countries have, like I said before, they have income tax, they have a wealth tax, and those are taxes that we don't have.
Oh well.
Well.
So any other questions on that iPad of yours?
We're going to plant that seed there for from other folks to think about.
So we just want to remind persons business licenses expired, and the renewal application date is tomorrow, January 31st. So get your applications in.
Someone was asking about a delay. Has there been a delay? It'll be for the folks under 100,000.
So we have, as of last night, we had about 20,000 applications in the queue. And so we've ramped up processing. We had to bring on some persons from our other sections that don't normally process to help get it out quickly. Again, we're looking at low-risk businesses, move them out the way. Those businesses that are under $100,000, we're not stressing them. We're moving them out. If you are a legitimate business under $100,000, and we don't have to say, you're gonna get out of the way quickly. But we're processing.
All right. We have so much more we could talk about, but you've got a meeting to go to. We need to do this more often, though. Yeah, can we organize? Let's we'll talk about it. Shonda Strachan, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
It was a pleasure being here.
And an easy, quick way for folks to get in contact with Inland Revenue to get more information or the website. What can
tax
you tell
inquiries, John? What is it? Tax inquiries at bahamas.gov.bs is the easiest way.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you so much. We'll let you get to your meeting.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. He's saying something. I haven't a clue what he's saying.
John, open the door and say what you have to say. Is he going to, what was it?
What
you want to say into the mic?
I told the public tomorrow is the day to get it in, because if you don't, there is a $100 late filing penalty. You don't need to pay that, people. Just submit the application.
Okay.
Right? Get it in.
Okay.
Put the onus on us.
Shonda Strachan, thank you again.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's take a break and be back to wrap things up. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Baby, oh, baby, what you owe me? Baby, oh, baby, what you owe me? Pay me for my blood, water, oh, pay me. Pay me for my son and my daughter, pay me.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
We're good for you. Whether your business is in store, on the go, or both, let Fidelity work with you to maximize your customers' payment options with a fixed or mobile terminal so that you never miss a sale. It's safer than cash and more convenient so that you can take your business anywhere. For details, contact a business development officer today at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport, or visit our website at fidelitygroup.com.
It is time for your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL. The Bahamas Insurance Association is warning Bahamians for the second time in a week about increases to insurance costs, but this time they're explaining that the Department of Inland Revenue intends to move the value-added tax burden for those with health insurance to the pockets of consumers in April and call it a tax increase. They added that the health insurance sector and the general public have not been widely consulted on the matter. However, the Ministry of Finance, in a rebuttal statement, explained to Guardian Business that the BIA is not being accurate in its reporting on the change that will happen in April, adding that the insurance sector met with the Ministry of Finance and the Prime Minister about the matter. The Ministry of Finance saying that the matter is being resolved with the change in April. It brings the health insurance sector in line with VAT laws, as health insurers were once claiming millions in VAT returns before the DRA audited the sector and found this practice to be counter to VAT laws. Meanwhile, the BIA, though, saying that the Department of Inland Revenue has advised the BIA that they intend to increase the VAT burden. Health insurance policies are taxable and clients currently pay VAT on their premiums. The BIA says that like all other companies selling taxable products, insurance companies are currently able to recover VAT paid on health insurance claims and other inputs, so the client's VAT burden is only the VAT on their premiums. The DIR intends to stop insurance companies from being able to recover the VAT, according to the BIA, paid on health insurance claims. This would mean that in addition to continuing to pay VAT on their premiums, clients will now also be responsible for the VAT on the underlying medical service. You can read more about this story in today's Guardian Business section. Household debt in the region grew during the COVID pandemic, but remains relatively low compared to other larger economies around the world. That's according to a recent Inter-American Development Bank report. On average, household debt in the region is 22% and around 35% for emerging economies like the Bahamas. That's in the report entitled Dealing with Debt, Less Risk for More Growth in Latin America and the Caribbean. It says that households borrow to buy durable goods, like an appliance, a car, or a house, and that stalled and countries need to actively manage amortizing schedules. Read more in today's Guardian Business section. Pointing to worrisome growth in debt in the region since the start of the COVID pandemic, the IDB, the Inter-American Development Bank, in a new report, is urging governments to reduce debt to more prudent levels to boost economic growth. It says efficient institutions such as well-functioning debt management offices and innovative debt instruments are vital for managing debt composition. Overseas, China's government today criticizing U.S. controls on technology exports as a trade violation after Japan and the Netherlands agreed to join Washington in limiting Beijing's access to materials to make advanced processor chips they say can be used in weapons. The foreign ministry didn't mention the latest development, but accused Washington of abusing export controls and organizing other governments. The United States is trying to block China from acquiring the most powerful processor chips and technology that would help its fledgling industry develop the ability to make them. Washington says they can be used to make weapons and to facilitate the ruling Communist Party's surveillance and human rights abuses. A person familiar with the agreement telling the Associated Press Sunday that Japan and the Netherlands, important suppliers of technology and raw materials to make the chips, agreed to join in U.S. controls. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Friday, your market movers: AML Foods Limited moving 150 shares, closing unchanged at $6.95. Bank of the Bahamas moving 130, closing at $2.84 unchanged. Commonwealth Bank moving 12,100, up 1 cent to $3.58. Consolidated Water unchanged at $2.88. Emira Incorporated unchanged at $9.93. The BISX All Share Index closing at 2,653.93, up 1.32. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And tune in tonight for CFAL Talks right here on Guardian Radio at 6:30 p.m. And that's going to do it for us today, Pamela Musgrove. Let's get your mic up there.
Thank you, Dwight, and have a blessed week, Bahamas.
Interesting show this morning. Interesting discussions. We'll see you again next week. And I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.